I'm doing great.
Good. Hey, Philosopher Kings, I have a special treat today. My sister, Shannon Schaefer, is going to be on the show for two reasons. Not just because she's my sister, but she's visiting from Boston, and she works as a young professional making that transition from the knowledge gained in school and in professional college to using the wisdom and virtue that it takes to do that job well. And she's currently undergoing some of the accelerated work pace that comes with being new at your job. And then secondly, she works as a therapist, and at Philosopher Kings, we specifically tailor to professionals. That is, people that have their own life, job, work balance on the one hand, and then carry loads of clients and patients on the other hand. It's a unique calling to be a professional that is certified by an organization or a board to practice, and then on the other hand is working with patients and clients for a living. So Shannon meets both marks, and she was coming to visit me in Iowa, so we thought, why not? So say hi, Shannon.
Hi. Should I also clarify my name's now Shannon Smith?
Oh, yeah.
Shannon
Did I
Schaefer?
introduce you as Shannon Schaefer?
You did.
My goodness.
But that's okay.
That's
that
funny.
was my name for most of my life.
That's true.
So
That's
most
true.
of the time you've known me.
Oh, my goodness. So I guess what we're going to do is ask just a few questions and do a short segment on each question. The first thing we're going to talk about is simply what is it like to transition from professional college and training to actually practicing? What are the overwhelming things and the good things, both sides? And secondly, we're going to talk about professionals broadly and ask, with Gen Z and young millennials entering the professions at a breakneck pace and many of them having to adjust to a lot of things for the first time, what do you see as the good? Like, what are the hopeful and beautiful things that you see about Gen Z that actually give you hope for the professions and for our world? And then on the back end, what are the specific challenges of the new generation of next gen professionals? So we'll do your experience, the experience of Gen Z in general. And then if you're up for it, we'll talk about your patients who many of them are experiencing overwhelm in work and the job help that you offered them. Does it sound good?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then want to do a bonus?
I would love to do a bonus.
Let's do a bonus on what you were talking to me about in the car on the way over.
Absolutely.
But we won't spoil it.
Okay.
We'll save it.
We'll
Sound
get
good?
to it. Yes.
Okay. So first question, what was it like to grow up with a Philosopher King?
Oh man, that there's too much time. I can't. So
Okay, real
pass
first
on
question.
that. Okay.
Real first question. What's it been like going from training to practice? Like in real time?
Yeah, well, I think my experience was a little unique, but in the same way, I think a lot of people have this too, where I kind of like got my feet wet in human services and working with clients before I went back to school for it. So after I graduated from college, I started working some kind of social work type jobs, case management jobs. And really what that did was give me a sense of, oh, I need more training for this.
Yeah.
I kind of need more
You
knowledge.
felt inundated?
Yes. Well, especially when you're looking at client-facing fields, when you're working with people that have a lot of needs, it can be overwhelming if you don't have the training and the support too. So I do think that that's actually really important for a lot of these fields. So then I went back to school, and school can just feel very academic. I mean, I'm fortunate, and I think most people that are going into these fields, you have to have some sort of internship or some kind of, kind of training. But at the same time, there's still a lot of hand holding. And it still feels very academic. Like you go and work with a client, but then you're like, oh, how am I going to write about this in my paper and present it to my class?
And there's always a safety net. Like if it doesn't go well, it's not just on you.
Absolutely.
It's on the people training you.
Yeah, you've got supervisors on supervisors and professors. And so I graduated a little over a year ago, and then now I've shifted into being in a field where there's still supervision, but you're totally on your own. And you're right that it's definitely an accelerated workload in that in my field with counseling, you graduate and you're a master's level, you're still working independently with your own caseload, but you have to get licensed. And so you're accumulating all these hours while also taking on a full-time caseload for the first time.
That said, though, that is the honor of a true profession. The original professions were medicine and law, and you had to be approved by a licensor or a guild to do the job. So on the one hand, you have to meet the certification, and on the other hand, you're working with patients and clients who hire you for your specialized knowledge. So you're really doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, as hard as it is, that is a high calling.
Yeah, well, and I mean, and absolutely, it's actually a good thing that there's these boundaries that you kind of have to sink or swim at first.
Yeah.
As almost kind of like a gatekeeping, like, do you have what it takes to do this and to do it ethically and do it in a way that also is sustainable for you?
Yeah. Just zooming out from 30,000 feet, is it possible to make that transition without making a lot of mistakes?
Oh, absolutely not. I think one of the things they talk about in grad school, or at least in my program, is to prepare you to make mistakes, prepare you to apologize to your clients when you mess up. And I can't tell you how many times in the past year and a half that I have had moments where I've had to apologize to clients or realize I didn't say that the way I should have, or, maybe the way I handled that could have been harmful, and I need to take accountability for that with my supervisor and with my clients. And that's a really good thing, I think, in our profession.
It is. It's different, though, because the knowledge piece of knowledge, wisdom, and virtue, which we try to tie together at Philosopher Kings, the knowledge piece in your training is about scoring the highest marks you can and coming as close to perfection as you can. And I mean, we literally give grades and you're shooting for the highest one. But the day in, day out practice of working with people well takes humility and resilience, doesn't it? And it takes being kind to yourself, because there's just that perfectionism is an illusion when you actually start caring for people, if you want to do it for the long haul.
Absolutely. Yep. And so you kind of have to be ready to take those blows to your pride. That's actually going to make you a much better clinician.